One thing is governance and reform of governance, and a board that is diverse and more deeply reflects the society that we live in. I think young people need to be on boards because they have experience and knowledge of today's world that the rest of us don't have. But it's not just about young people, it's about just greater diversity. I think part of the role of philanthropy at an absolute minimum is to be clear what it is that you can do and what your place is in the ecosystem. Some foundations are brilliant at funding research. You know, we all do different things, and I think that's totally legitimate, and the diversity of the ecosystem is in part a strength. I think that there are a couple of things that philanthropy is particularly or has a particular role to play. The first is that, you know, trusts and foundations have an overview of the sector, the third sector, by which I mean charities and social enterprises and social movements and the range of organisations that fit within that in a way that no other part of society has. And so I do think that we could play a much stronger role championing the third sector. We play a role, the third sector, that goes way beyond the delivery of services. And I don't think a lot of the public are that aware of it in some ways. So I think that there's a lot more that we could do. And then the other thing that is related to that is about systems. You know, we fund lots of organisations often working on the same themes across systems, but we fund them as individual organisations. And obviously when it comes to, you know, long-term structural change, systemic change, there is a huge role that philanthropy can play in supporting the collaboration needed and the kind of systems thinking that will actually do more than the tweaking around the edges. There is something particular about the uncompromising nature of young people who want to change the world. You know, it is a feature of youth, and I just find that incredibly hopeful. I find it incredibly optimistic. I love being around it. There is something unique about that energy that I think the social sector needs, because it has made Blagrave very uncompromising in listening, and that has been driven by young people. And if there's one thing that you can say for the foundation sector, it's that sometimes there is a lack of urgency to change, both reforming itself and the change it's trying to bring about externally. And young people push that all the time, and it is inspiring. I love it.